While flying over a field, a Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilot spotted a Russian assault soldier riding a motorcycle toward Ukrainian positions. Hearing the sound of the drone, the Russian panicked and lost control, eventually crashing. Abandoning his motorcycle, the enemy began fleeing in the opposite direction, and the drone pilot started chasing him. Then the pilots began destroying the damaged and abandoned Russian equipment. First, they destroyed an MTLB armored vehicle, along with the howitzer it was towing. Next, they destroyed a Russian T-72 tank. Another howitzer, camouflaged at a combat position. And a self-propelled artillery system were also destroyed. One of the villages captured by Russian occupiers in the Donetsk region turned into a living hell for them. Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots began hunting down every Russian soldier and mercilessly striking them. Also featured is the combat work of the Charlie Company. The pilots encountered Russian armored vehicles carrying reinforcements and destroyed them. Only ruins remain of the former settlement, where Russian soldiers try to hide from drones. However, the kamikaze drone operators show no mercy to the invaders. Here, a Ukrainian Su-29 fighter jet launches a strike on a Russian drone force's position with 3 missiles. One missile fell in a field due to the active electronic warfare system, but the other 2 successfully hit the target. Combat operation of the Ukrainian Charlie Company on the Donetsk front. Their reconnaissance drone spotted movement of a Russian recovery vehicle and a self-propelled artillery unit heading to tow a damaged armored vehicle. The Ukrainian drone operators waited for the perfect moment, just as the Russians hooked up the vehicle for towing and then launched a precision strike with a loitering munition. The Russian recovery vehicle was severely damaged, and a massive fire broke out inside, completely burning it down. The pilots then began searching for the self-propelled artillery system, which had entered the village and was positioned between the houses. Here is another episode from Donetsk region, this time in the area of responsibility of the Magyar birds. Upon spotting the movement of 2 Russian armored personnel carriers, Ukrainian drone operators launched kamikaze drones and flew out to intercept the Russian vehicles, aiming to prevent their advance toward Ukrainian positions. The pilots engaged the Russian vehicles right as they arrived at the tree line. The strikes on the APCs were precise. The armor couldn't withstand the hits, and the Russian vehicles were immediately disabled. The other armored personnel carrier hit a mine and was immediately finished off by the kamikaze drone operators. Also in Donetsk region, on June 26th, a Russian armored personnel carrier carrying infantry attempted to cross an open field toward a tree line, aiming to launch assault operations behind Ukrainian lines. Pilots from the 110th Brigade were called into action and began striking the vehicle until it was completely destroyed. Here's another interception of a Russian armored vehicle moving through a destroyed Ukrainian village. Most likely, the vehicle was on a mission to evacuate Russian troops, but it never reached its destination. Later, another Russian armored vehicle was destroyed in an open field after getting stuck in an infantry trench and failing to get out. And here come the Russian motorized infantry groups. Over the past year, the Russians have increasingly resorted to using small motorized assault groups to storm Ukrainian positions due to the dwindling supply of armored vehicles. As a result, for Ukrainian drone operators, motorcycles have become just as much of a target as heavy armored vehicles. The village of Prechestivka, Donetsk region. June 27th, the first documented destruction of a North Korean M1991 multiple launch rocket system used by Russian forces, carried out by a Ukrainian FPV drone. After the Kamikaze drone struck one of the rockets in the launcher pack, the projectile pierced the crew cabin and then triggered the detonation of the entire ammunition load. June 26th, the city of Soledar, Donetsk region, an airstrike destroys a building housing Russian UAV operators. The village of Bilogrudov and the city of Hola Pristan, Kherson region. Ukrainian artillery strikes a Russian boat, while FPV drone operators target enemy personnel shelters and a vehicle belonging to the Russian occupiers. June 21st, near the villages of Yablunivka and Novulanivka, Donetsk region, Ukrainian Marines use FPV drones to eliminate Russian occupiers in shelters, as well as during their movement on foot and on motorcycles. That's all for now, friends. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest events. This report was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.